The old man sat quietly on a weathered bench outside a small roadside diner, his cane resting between his knees, and a faded Marine Corps cap shielding his eyes from the afternoon sun. His jacket, though worn and faded, still bore the patches of a man who had seen things others couldn't imagine. The world moved fast around him, cars passing, people glued to their phones, laughter and noise, but inside his quiet world, there was peace. That peace shattered the moment a young TikToker approached with a camera in hand, grinning like a hyena that smelled trouble. The boy's name was Chase. 19 years old, dyed hair, chain around his neck, and a phone always recording. He made his living by pulling cruel pranks and posting them for millions to laugh at. His latest idea was, disrespect the elder challenge. He spotted the old veteran, alone, harmless, perfect for views. Watch this, guys, Chase whispered to his followers, his camera rolling. He strutted over and began mocking the old man. Hey grandpa, you lose your war or your teeth. His friends laughed behind the camera. The veteran simply looked up, his eyes calm but sharp, the kind of eyes that had seen death and still chose mercy. He said quietly, son, respect costs you nothing, but losing it might cost you everything. Chase scoffed, oh, big talk for an old fossil. And before anyone could react, he slapped the veteran across the face. The sound cracked through the air like a gunshot. The camera caught it perfectly. His followers were going to love this. But what Chase didn't know, what he couldn't have known, was who sat inside the diner. 40 bikers from the Iron Brotherhood Motorcycle Club were having lunch, their bikes parked outside, chrome shining under the sun. Every one of them was a veteran. Marines, Army, Navy, you name it. They lived by a code: respect, loyalty, and brotherhood. The diner went dead silent after that slap. A waitress gasped. The old man didn't move. His cheek reddened, but his voice stayed steady. You just made a mistake, son. Then the door opened, and the bikers walked out one by one, leather jackets, tattoos, beards, and eyes like steel. The sound of their boots hitting the pavement was enough to make Chase's phone tremble in his shaking hand. The biggest of them, a tall man named Bear, walked right up to Chase. You think it's funny to hit an old man? He growled, his voice deep and dangerous. Chase tried to laugh it off. It's just a prank, man. Chill. It's for TikTok. But no one was laughing. Another biker, Snake, grabbed the phone from Chase's hand and tossed it into the dirt. No camera now. Let's see how funny you were without your followers. The old veteran looked up, not angry, just tired. Don't hurt him, he said softly. He's just a fool who doesn't know what respect means yet. The bikers paused. Even in humiliation, the veteran had shown more strength than any of them. Bear nodded slowly. You heard the man. We don't hurt kids, but we teach them. They made Chase clean every bike in that parking lot, 40 gleaming machines, polished till they sparkled. His fancy clothes were soaked, his hands blistered, his pride gone. Every biker stood around him, arms crossed, silent. No one mocked, no one jeered. The only sound was the steady rub of a rag on metal and the occasional sniffle from the boy who realized too late how badly he'd messed up. When he was done, the old veteran stood and walked over, cane tapping on the ground. He looked down at Chase and said quietly, when I was your age, I fought so kids like you could have the freedom to speak, to live, and even to make mistakes. Don't waste that freedom disrespecting the people who gave it to you. Something broke inside Chase. Maybe it was guilt, maybe shame, maybe both. His voice trembled. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't know. The veteran nodded. Now you do. One of the bikers walked up and put a hand on the boy's shoulder. We all screw up, kid. The difference between a man and a fool is whether you learn from it. Chase picked up his broken phone and, for the first time, pointed it not for fame but for truth. That night, he uploaded a video, not of the slap, but of his apology. He told the story exactly as it happened, showed the bruise on the veteran's cheek, and admitted how wrong he'd been. I thought being famous meant being fearless, he said. But I learned real courage looks like respect, not cruelty. The video went viral, not because it was funny, but because it was real. People shared it across the world. Veterans commented blessings, parents said they showed it to their kids, and bikers everywhere nodded with pride. A few weeks later, Chase returned to the diner, not for content, but for company. The old man was there again, same bench, same hat. Chase sat down beside him, 2 coffees in hand. One for you, sir. The old veteran smiled. You learn fast. Still got a lot to learn, Chase replied. They sat in silence for a moment as bikes roared down the highway, the sun dipping behind the hills. And somewhere in that quiet afternoon, a boy became a man, not through views or fame, but through humility and respect. Because sometimes, the loudest lessons come from the people who speak the softest. And sometimes, revenge doesn't need fists, it only needs a moment of understanding that changes a life forever. The world kept moving, but that little roadside diner stayed the same. The bikers still stopped by. The old veteran still sat on his bench. And the boy who once slapped a hero now helped him stand, one hand on his shoulder, as the two walked in together, teacher and student, bound not by anger, but by respect.